Uh, I know nobody's on here yet, but I'll go ahead and get started. Ruthie B doesn't know I'm on doing it live, so she'll be tripping when she goes walking by. But anyhow, I've been gathering parts for the truck as soon as I got in last week. I basically drug my feet, was in no hurry, but I could have been here on Thursday, but I held out over in Clarksville on Friday and got my parts. I went to Peterbilt and got my parts. So I got a wiring harness, um, the gaskets for um, the rocker arm housing, and so I got all the gaskets to go all the way up from the rocker box housing up, and the valve cover gaskets. There, they weren't leaking. The motor doesn't have any leaks at all, but some of the grommets were falling apart. While you're there, see, I told you Ruthie was going to come around the corner and freak out. But anyway, it's all right. We don't have anybody on here yet, anyhow. So, and now she's going to start accusing me of doing her wrong.
Well, you always start lies without telling me.
See what I'm saying? But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, that's nobody's on there yet. But it's just like making a video. You're nobody's there, but you know somebody will be there eventually. But yeah, so I got those. I got the wiring harness. I got the gaskets, and then Caterpillar doesn't sell the this solenoids that go on top of the coils, and so I ordered those. I got 3 of those. They should be here any day now. See, I had to get those from eBay. And the last that I checked, see my eBay.
Hello, everybody. He didn't tell me he was going live.
My eBay.
Yeah, it's 8:45 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Oh, look, Stephen, we have 2 people watching.
Is there 2 people watching?
There's 2 people watching. Don't know who they are yet because there's no comments being made, but
that's fine.
I just didn't know we were going to be live this
But
morning.
like I was saying, it's just like making a video because you don't have an audience when you're making a video. So anyway, I was just checking to see when my parts will be here. So we're leaving out. We're going to go see AJ. We got a hotel room in London, and it's 59 miles over to Purchase Youth, which is in Pine Bluff.
No, Desi Scott. Purchase Youth is in Benton.
And Ruthie's wearing her.
Well, I got coffee on me this morning. Yep, I got coffee.
So anyway, so we're going to Desi Scott, and then we're going to have AJ for the day. And so he's got $256 that he wants to spend. And and we were going to originally see him for Christmas, but everything's going to be closed for Christmas. So we're going to see him tomorrow. And then we'll be staying the night again at the hotel because I got it for 2 days. And then on Christmas Day, we'll come home. So that's why we're leaving out.
Tell everybody who's down on the floor. Look at the floor.
Who's down on the floor?
October. Look at it.
Let's see. The 28th. So, yeah. So, well, actually, I know you can't see what's on my phone, but one of the other things besides getting the motor running right is so I first started. I just never was going to plan on keeping this truck. And if you notice in some of the videos lately, I had been looking at trucks, and after looking at trucks, it made me rethink the truck that I have, because actually the truck that I have, other than the rust that it had on the chassis from being a Northern truck, which isn't really bad, I've had worse. Um, it's made me think that this truck's not so bad after all. So I guess what I'm getting at is, if I'm going to keep this truck, I'm going to have to fix it and get it the way I want it. And one of the things that I also ordered is a side glass for the passenger door. And I've never done it, but I've read articles and I've seen videos on where they take the wind wing out and take a Peterbilt glass and put it in there. You're going to need a wedge that goes down in a corner to take up the spot. Even the Peterbilts have them on there. There's a little wedge that goes down in the corner, take up a little, the little corner piece, and it fills that in. And there's some other things you got to do to get it to work. But I'm going to take that wind wing out, uh, first of all, because it's right in the middle of the mirror, and I want to see my mirrors. So that's one of the cosmetic things that I'm going to do to make it easier to drive. And so not only will I be working on the motor and trying to get rid of the mysterious half miss. So what it's doing is, when you drive it on a regular basis, you don't even know that anything's wrong. But if you have like 30,000 pounds on you and you're climbing a good steep climb, it gets a vibration coming from the motor. It's not a complete miss, but it's like a half a miss, And the harder you get into the climb, if the RPMs drop anywhere near a 13 and a quarter, it starts spitting and bucking. It does not like it at all. Now you can let it get down below 1300 and it won't do that, but you can get above it and it don't do that. But right at 13 and a quarter RPMs, it starts uh, uh, kicking and bucking, and it just doesn't like it. There's some people that think that it's fuel starvation, which could be. But I'm trying to go at it from a couple of different directions at one time. So first of all, I'm going to change the wire and harness. Well, I already ran the rack, and that improved it. The way it runs a lot better. But then now I'm going to change the wire and harness for the coils. The injectors, and then I'm going to change 3 coil solenoids on top of the injectors. The first 3 weren't responding, so I'm going to change those out along with the wire and harness. Put the new gaskets on there, put it back together, and then the secondary filter housing, I'm going to take it completely apart and clean it, and clean all the valves that are inside there. Make sure there's nothing that got past the first filter up into the secondary filter, and it's causing problem in those valves. And I want to back flush the head too, just in case something's up in there. And then the number 1 inline filter housing, I'll clean it as well. So I'll just clean up the fuel system, clean up all the valves and hoses and anything I can clean, and hopefully that'll solve the problem, because like I said, it runs good until you get into a certain situation, and then it starts acting up. And so I want to get rid of that, and then I want to fix the get that wind wing out on the passenger door. And if I do a good job and figure it out, then I'll order another glass and I'll do it on the driver's side. But I'm mainly concerned about the passenger side. Oh, well, Ruthie B is on our live, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what happened to her? She's excited when I go see AJ this morning. We only got to see him this morning, but we'll be on our way. We'll see him tomorrow morning. We'll get him. I think she said that we can get him at 6 a.m. and keep him.
8 o'clock, 8 to 6.
Okay, so we'll pick him up at 8, and we have to return him at 6. And we're gonna take him back. So it's 59 miles. So we'll have to go over and pick him up, and then bring him back to London. And then London has Walmart and all that stuff over there that we can take him because he wants to go. He's got money and it's burning a hole in his pocket. So, you know. Anyway, so we're finishing up with his little time away from the home. They're now getting him where he needs to get used to reuniting with his parents. And it's been a year, hasn't it?
Over a year, yes.
Yeah, so it's been over a year since he's been home. And so we're going to be getting him here and there and reuniting him. There's 4 more months and then the case will close. And so we're going to get him back sometime between now and that 4 months, probably at the end of the 4 months, the way these jokers work, so they seem to think that they're helping, and they don't really help whatsoever. Of course, I don't know. I really don't want to say anything negative about them, especially on live YouTube. Come back and bite you. So.
Do you think we're going to film him while we're there? Can we film him while we're there?
I mean, you can take pictures, but.
Why can't we make videos of him in our hotel room?
Probably because Jessica will probably have all kinds of issues with it.
I was really hoping to make a YouTube video of all of our family. She didn't say we couldn't.
I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, looks like Ruthie's our #1 fan today. We got 6 people watching and 3 thumbs up. So anyway, yeah, that's why I'm on here, because we're fixing to leave out, and I haven't made a video all week, and Ruthie's made backup videos to the channel, and I don't think that y'all have been responding to it very well, because I looked at the views and they're way down, and so thought I'd better step in and give a live before I started to make a video yesterday. I started to make a video and about getting the parts, and it just didn't work out. So, I don't. Making videos without content is kind of like making this live. You struggle to get to the topic. The topic here today is that we're going to go visit AJ for Christmas, and I have the parts, most of my parts that I need for the truck, and I got a few more coming, and also have an eye doctor's appointment because I've been having eye problems. I mean, I don't have a vision problem. What I got is a scar growth. It's called atresium, and it grows from the nose outward towards the pupil, and it's caused by sunlight and dryness. And and I've had them since I was in my 20s, and I've actually had them removed twice when I was in my 20s, but I haven't had them removed any since. But they're keeping a close eye on them. They're keeping a close eye on my eyes. So, but my problem is when you run the heater, it really dries my eyes out. and then my eyes get really painfully sore. And if you're driving a semi truck, you don't need that. So what I used to do in my past trucks is I would take a towel and I would tuck it into the bottom of the dash and then lay it over my lap. And see, that's where a lot of the heat problem comes from. Is especially like on this Freightliner. The bad thing about classics is they're not very good at putting doors on the bodies, and they don't seal very good. And a lot of air comes around them doors, so it gets pretty cold. And I'll lay towels next to the door too while I'm driving. But one of the things that I used to do was take a towel and tuck it into the bottom of the dash and then lay it over my lap. And so that's what I was getting at. The heat that goes down where you're trying to keep your feet warm because of the drafts uh, will come up over your chest and go up under your glasses and dry your eyes out. And so that was one of the things that I used to do to keep the heat, the dry air from the heat. Yeah, coming up and drying my eyes out. I haven't been doing that. I'll probably have to resource to going back to doing that because I've been putting eye drops in and ointment in, and I'm still fighting the dryness. My eyes are great right now, because I haven't been driving and getting around heat or dry air, so they feel fine. But man, when I got home, I felt like I got punched in the eyes. I mean, they felt bruised. And so, what is today? It's Tuesday,
the 23rd.
So yeah, y'all see Ricky's video where she seen the Snap-on truck. Well, I guess I'll do the Kentucky slang thing. Bless her heart, she was really trying.
What? What, you don't like my video?
They finally got somebody on here. Come read it.
It says, glad to see you made it home safely. That's from Kirk DeWitt. Have a Merry Christmas.
I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you too.
Kirk DeWitt. Say his name.
Mr. DeWitt. My best friend when I was growing up, his name was Kirk. Buck Kirk. And yeah, I used to love that guy. He was something else. I don't know why. We were just the opposite of one another. He was always trying to beat me up, and I was never going to let him beat me up. So, and he loved to ride horses and bulls, and I like to drive trucks and motorcycles. We were always in some type of competition. He died here probably a couple of decades ago. He was on a motorcycle ride and died on a motorcycle. Anyway, that's what that Kirk reminded me of. So I don't know what Ricky's saying. Ricky's really lighting it up over there. What's with the crown? You gave yourself a crown?
I did not give myself a crown. YouTube gave me a crown.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Oh, Aaron's on. Say good morning to Aaron.
Good morning, Aaron. Is that Aaron Howard?
No, it's Aaron from our YouTube. It's not your cousin.
Oh, Outlaw Life?
Yes.
How you doing this morning? Anyway, in case y'all haven't caught up, I've been busy gathering parts and getting ready, get all the parts together to do the work on my truck. I got mostly everything here yesterday. The only thing I'm waiting on is the coil or the injector coil solenoids, and that's the little white electrode that goes on top of the injectors. I got 3 of them. And the reason why I got 3 instead of 6 is because when we did the cutout test, 1, 2, and 3 weren't responding, and so I'm going to replace those 3 when I replace the wiring harness. And so those are on the way, and but I can do everything that I need to do without those. As long as I can take the rocker box caps off and replace those later on. In order to do the wiring harness, you got to take the caps off, and then you got to take the rocker box housing off and flip it over. Well, you got to take the screws out of the injectors or take the nuts loose, and then you can lift that rocker box housing, and it's all snapped in there. And so you got to take that off, put on a new gasket, snap it all back in, lay it down, and then put all your bolts back on for your injectors. And so, but if the coils don't get back or get here before I do that, I can always do that later. I don't know. Ruthie keeps interrupting me.
No, I'm keeping the conversation going.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I didn't. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really read it. I can certainly see the Captain Kirk reference. Captain Kirk. Isn't that the guy that? I have glasses right here.
Well, put them on then.
I'm not gonna put my glasses on.
Well, you just said you didn't have your glasses.
You could. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of Ruthie's punked out haircut? So, I think
I got hat hair, so I'm not showing my hair.
I think she's got midlife crisis. First she went purple, now she's going blue. Next would be red. At least red would be natural.
I have hat hair. I'm not getting on camera with hat hair.
Well, here, you want a beanie? Here.
Give me my purple beanie.
Here.
Well, no, I have one right here. I think I do.
They can't see you over there. Ruthie's ashamed of her blue, purple hair sticking up all over the place.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of my hair. I just have hat hair this morning, and it's all spiky, and I'm just not gonna make a camera appearance with spike. It's bedhead is what it is. I have bedhead, and I'm not showing my hair this morning. I'm not ashamed of my blue hair, so I'm in the next room off camera.
Ruthie's all punked out.
So you don't want to show hat hair on film.
There you have it. Don't want to show hat hair on film. I didn't know we were on film. I think I got rid of film a long time ago. So yeah. And again, I got a window coming. So I don't know if y'all know about this. On the classics, they have the classics and the early Pete's had the wind wing. And the wind wing, when you're driving the semi truck and you go to look in your mirror, the post for the wind wing is always right in the center of the mirror. So you have to try to look at the mirror and somehow look around that post. After a while, you get used to it, but really it's not practical to have a bar going through your mirror. And so this is the part that I'm not sure if you know about, but you can take a 379 where they had gotten rid of the wind wing. It's a wind wing delete. And you can get that same glass and put it in on classic. So you can do a wind wing delete on classics. There's just a little piece down in the very corner of the very corner of the glass up in the front of the door, even on the Pete's. They put a little wedge in there that the glass can't fill, and which I always thought was kind of janky, but I'll have to make one of those too. And so it's just two pieces of metal, about that big, and then you run your felt down in there so your glass can slide through it. And but anyway, yeah, I've seen conversions on that years and years ago. And they have kits that are made. They're like $500. Yeah, I can get a glass for 100, or did I pay it? Yeah, $136 what I paid. So, and so that's what I did. I got a glass. I'm gonna try to install that and see what I can do about putting a WinWing delete on the passenger side, and eventually I'll do the one on the driver's side. But the one on the driver's side doesn't bother me. It's the one that's on the passenger side where the WinWing bar where you close your WinWing. It's right in the center of the mirror, and I did not like that. I do not like that. I never have liked that. So I want to do that too. I don't know if I'll do that before I leave out or not.
Hey, mention Jeremiah 29:11, that person's name.
Jeremiah 29:11.
He's here this morning.
Well, good morning, sir. To you. Well, cool. I don't see him on. I don't hardly see anything with my glasses on.
Well, put them on, Philly.
Just read it, Ruthie.
Jeremiah 29:11. He says, "Good morning, Stephen and Ruthie. I wish you a wonderful Christmas as we celebrate the birth of Jesus."
Amen to that. That's right. Jesus is the reason for the season. Don't forget it. No.
Oh, Aaron wants to know how you like working for Timmy.
Well,
call his name, Aaron.
You're trying to tell me how to talk. Anyway, yeah, working for Timmy is actually, I haven't been able to make money since my Peterbilt, and that's been about 10 years. I mean, I can make money, but I struggle to get by. Well, let's put it this way. I'm not struggling to get by anymore. So I'm doing pretty good working for Tim. So I bring home, anyway, I bring home between $4,500 and $6,500 a week, depending on what I do. That's bring home after everything's paid out. So anybody that's in trucking knows what kind of money that is. So, I mean, I was struggling when I was booking my own loads and had my own flatbed. I was struggling to bring home $2,000 a week, and sometimes I can get $3,000 a week. And so it just got really ugly. And then when they let all the illegals over here and gave them 20 million illegal aliens, gave them driver's license and CDLs, you know, it really drove the rates down. I remember when that first started happening, I was making, you know, like anywhere from $3.50 to $4 a mile hauling styrofoam. Pretty close, not exactly $4 a mile, but pretty close to $4 a mile, hauling styrofoam out of Peebly, going up to Montana, and the rates kept dropping down, and so you know, I would talk to the broker about it, and she said, well, the people keep hauling it for less and less and less, and in fact they're hauling it for $1.32 a mile. I said, well, who are these people? And she couldn't put a finger on who the people were. But the problem was, it didn't matter who the people were, because whoever they were driving the freaking rates down. And well, we know who they are now. It's the 23 illegal aliens that crossed over the border, and our government gave them driver's license and put CDLs and put them in our trucks. And since then, over 80,000 trucking businesses have gone out of business. Some of the biggest and some of the oldest that we've crown jewels trucking industry out of the trucking industry have gone out of business. You know, just, and You think about 80,000 plus the employees, how many people are unemployed because of the illegal aliens our government let in and gave them CDLs. And so the reason why I bring that up is because when that all took place, it drove the rates down and I could not make money. I mean, I tried. I'd been booking my own loads. Remember, I was one of the first guys that had a laptop in my truck. And I had to carry around this big card. It was by Sprint, and it would slide in the side of it. And I would have equipment on my truck where I can receive a signal. And I could park in a truck stop and get on my load board and look for loads. And I was one of the first guys out there doing it. I would have people talk to me on the CB back when people talked on the CBs. Come and look in my truck, and I would show them my setup. And so anyway, I was one of the first guys out there with that setup. And so I've been booking loads for a really long time. And so in the last 22 years out of booking loads, in 2021, it just started dropping and dropping and dropping. No matter what I did, it just kept dropping. And I struggled, man. I really, really struggled to pay my bills. I mean, I could pay the house bills, but I couldn't do the maintenance on my truck. And in fact, before I sold the black one, I had to borrow $3,000 just to buy tires. And that's been the first time I've ever had to do that. And that's how bad trucking had got. And so being over here with Tim and hauling the contract freight, I'm not having to use the load boards and compete with the 20 million illegal aliens that are driving semi trucks. And so I'm doing pretty good. So the answer to your question is that I'm doing pretty good working for Tim. And I really like the people there around there. The girls are real nice in the office. They're always on their toes, and they take care of business. Although I still don't have my IFTA sticker. That's probably due to the government shutdown. And Finance is always very helpful. To any questions I might have towards my truck or whatever, he's very supportive. And Tim, you can hardly ever get a hold of Tim. Tim's a very busy man. He don't answer his phones or his texts. You have to text him 20 times and he might get back to you. So I don't hardly ever see Tim a whole lot. But as far as working for Tim, it's been pretty good so far. And it's been what, 9 months?
It says March the 1st, so yeah, 9 months.
9 months, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Somebody wants to know why you're not going to get your own authority.
I could have got my own authority 22 years ago. I don't want my own authority because running your own authority brings in a lot more paperwork into your house, and we can't keep up with the paperwork we got. So I'm not going to do that. So, and I'm not going to hire a crew to do my paperwork. So I just decide to lease on people that do their paperwork, and that way I don't have to worry about it. So it comes out to about $19,000 to $20,000 a year out of my finances to be leased on somebody. And so, at $19,000, $20,000 a year to be leased on to somebody, I think it's worth it. And you don't have all those hassles. It's a big enough hassle to keep an old ride running and on a steady basis and not having issues while you're out on the road. You're going to have problems with your trucks, but you want to have them in good enough shape that you can plan for them and you can see them coming and make sure you get home where you can fix them. You don't want to be breaking down on the road. So That's a big enough job staying on top of that without bringing all the paperwork on top of it. So that's why I don't run my own authority. So, but for those who, I've never wanted more than one truck. So for those who want to grow and get drivers and own more trucks, yeah, that's the way to go. Get your own authority and grow from there. Um, but for a guy like me that just wants to run one truck and doesn't care to grow and have hired drivers and all that, uh, it's easier just to lease on. So, like I said, it cost me a roundabout, doesn't it? It cost me about $20,000 a year, right?
Yeah, roughly.
Pretty much,
So
it's like
somebody thinks that I should do all that paperwork. I can't even do the paperwork we have.
Ruthie, since AJ's been in the world, she can't hardly keep up with the paperwork we got, and so it's not. I mean, she's highly intelligent. She has a master's and a bachelor's, and so it's not like she's not smart enough to do it. She's plenty smart enough to do it. It's just we got a lot going on with AJ, and so. When I get him back, he's going to stay with me on the road. I'm not going to leave him at home no more. Kind of solve that problem. He's going to be 14 here in a couple of months anyway. And it's time for him to be with his dad. And plus, that's where he wants to be anyway, so with his dad. So I get him with me and, keep him in the homeschooling and keep him right with the government. And teach the boys some respect, and possibly teach them a trade, either in mechanics or driving a truck. I think mechanics is probably the better way to go than driving a truck. At least you'll have a home life if you're a mechanic.
Okay, talk about this. Stacy Howell wants to know what is the best way to get back into trucking. I came off the truck 7 years ago. And most companies want 3 to 5 years recent experience. How can I get started again? Say the name, Stacy Howell.
Stacy Howell?
Yeah.
Well, I went through that dilemma after I got out of prison. Hadn't been driving for a few years, and I just got on with a Mickey Mouse outfit. They didn't pay very good, and because it was a Mickey Mouse outfit. And I drove for them and for a little while and got ripped off pretty much. And I knew I was getting ripped off, but that was my foot in the door. Once I got my foot in the door and got some recent experience, then I was able to move on. That's what I did. So sometimes you just got to humble yourself. Timmy, one of the things I know about Timmy is he when he sees something he likes, he wants to buy it. I mean, he has that big want thing. He reminds me of a big kid sometimes. I want. And he is a youngster. I mean, he's 33, so more power to him. Yeah, he likes my trucks too. So, but I have no plans on selling my trucks. I got a couple Cadillacs I might let him have, but my trucks, I ain't getting rid of my trucks. In fact, I'm looking to get. Honest, the older I get, and the last trip that I took to California in my Cadillac, I learned something that I wished I had learned before I spent 11 grand on the freaking Cadillac. And that was when I took my family to California and I wanted to show my family stuff. I said, hey, look at that. Look over there. And you couldn't see over the freaking guardrail because the Cadillac, when you're sitting in that Cadillac, your butt's only like 4 inches off the ground. And so you can't see over the guardrails. You can't see up ahead of you. And I did not like that experience. And so, even though that Cadillac is a really nice car, it's not a very good car for seeing the world. And so, I'm actually got my eyes out. I've been watching Marketplace. I'd like to get an Escalade or something like that. I know the fuel mileage sucks on those, but I don't. My vehicles sit in the garage 90% of the time anyway. So, because I'm always gone, so it's not about the fuel mileage. It's about what do you get out of it. And I do have the 350. In fact, I'm leaning towards right now. The 350 is getting a transmission rebuilt, and then after that's done, I'm going to send it over and have the parts that I got for the front end that I hadn't finished putting on, and have those put on and get it aligned. When I first got it, you couldn't hardly drive the freaking thing. The steering wheel was like that. And I bought a new steering gear box, and I bought the inners and the outers, and I put the inners on the drive linkage. I put the inners on, but I never put the outers on. And then there was a steering stabilizer. I replaced that. And then it has what they call radius bushings that are, let's say, like your axles are out here. It's behind the axles, right up underneath you. And they hold the axles, from going back and forth. They're called radius bushings. I got those, and I haven't put those on. And and then there's where the axles pivot out on the 350. There's a ball joint right there in the center that needs to be replaced. And so I want to have those replaced and get it realigned and see how that drives. On the highway, that 350 of mine with that 7.3 gets 24 miles a gallon. But the thing I don't like about it is it's really loud and it's not really comfortable to drive in. So if I can get it to drive better and maybe figure out how to make it quieter, I wouldn't mind just driving it around, because I actually like driving the 350. It's a little higher up off the ground. You can see over the guardrails. What next, Ruthie?
What was that? Oh, yeah, it was.
I said, what's next?
Somebody was talking, Mr. Aaron was talking about how he had to sell his Camaro because he had cancer. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. So how did the cancer go?
Well, it's been 6 months since his initial treatments for Aaron.
Yeah, so how's your treatments? I mean, how you doing? You're still here, so... So, you must be doing all right, right? Or are you beating it? The cancer going away? So, sorry about your Camaro.
Yeah, he was sorry to have to sell his Camaro.
Yeah. Well, hey, when Richie and I first met, I had bought a Camaro, and before I met, it was after I met her. But anyway, I bought this Camaro and I brought it home. It had a V6 in it, and the guy lied to me and told me the motor was good, and I built it and find out that it had a bad wrist pin. So I took it apart and had the block cleaned up and put all new wrist pins, and just rebuilt the motor. And when I put it back together, I can't remember, something happened. I had to take it back apart. And so it took me 3 times to build that motor. And I finally got to where it was running right. And then the fuel pump went bad on it, and had to fix that. But anyway, I ended up having to get rid of that Camaro. And one of the things I realized when I bought that Camaro is that friggin' thing sucked. I went and test drove an F-150, and there's this turn when you come out here. In my Camaro, in that turn, it was a handful with that Camaro. And I came out here in my F-150, and it handled that turn like it was nothing. And I thought, that's after I've noticed the difference in the way an F-150 handled next to that Camaro, I got rid of the Camaro. It was not to mention that I hit a deer with it, and it destroyed the front end. But I took 3 nights off from work and rebuilt the front end, but it just wasn't the same. It was a nice car, and I did a lot of work to it, but I gave it away. I'm kind of like that. I don't even when I'm done with something, it's not about what I can get out of it. It's about getting rid of it. So I just got rid of it. Wow, $4 a mile as an owner operator is barely breaking even. Well, that was nowadays it is. Let me see. When did I do those runs? 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
So that was 5 years ago, before Joe Biden made everything go up 3 times as much as it was 4 years ago. Yeah. I don't know. $4 a mile is pretty darn good to me. If you're hauling cattle and getting $9 a mile, that's I could have got into cattle. I don't want to get into cattle. $4 a mile is great money to me, Mr. Kirk, Mr. DeWitt. I could get by pretty good making back 4 and 5 years ago. I could get by making 3.20-25 a mile, and so the $4 a mile was pretty decent. Especially when you run the long runs like I was running. I don't like running short stuff, and I'll run out to Montana and drop down to Idaho and get the same load and bring it back to Pennsylvania. And it's a round trip. I was making 11 grand gross a week. And I always brought home 50% of that. So half of 11 grand, that's pretty decent money. Not for all folks, but for me, it was pretty decent money. Yeah. But I've tried to get out of trucking, and every time I try to get out of it, it ends up costing me a lot of money. First of all, when you have a semi like I have, and over the years, you sink a lot of money into it. And every time I've tried to get rid of my trucks, I lost big time. I could never get my money back out of what I put in them. I can put 200 grand in a truck and barely get 50 out of it. It's better just to keep your truck and invest all that money and then and try to get rid of it. And that's just the way a lot of things are. It's like them Harleys out there. I paid $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for them freaking Harleys, and overnight, they're worthless. And I can't even. You can put them on marketplace, and people ain't want to give you $2,000 for them. So I'd rather let them sit out there and rust and fall apart before I get rid of them for $2,000. It's like rolling down the window and throwing your money out the window when you spend $7,000 and overnight it's not worth $3,000. So it's funny how things happen like that. And all the trucks that I've bought and invested so much work and time and money in them and didn't hardly get anything out of selling them. So
do you think it's really fair to say it's worthless?
Well, I mean, compared to what I have in it, yeah. when you spend 7,000 and it's only worth 3,000, yeah, it's kind of worthless. Worthless to get rid of it.
Oh, we have somebody new, Aaron Travis. Aaron Travis says, yeah, you spend more on parts than what you get out of them.
Yeah.
Say his name, Aaron Travis.
Ruthie. Say his name, Aaron Travis. How you doing, Mr. Aaron? Anyway, so that's when I went looking for trucks here recently. It was never my plan to keep this truck. I wanted to keep the motor. It's a Virgin motor. It's never been apart. It's a 6NZ Virgin motor. It's never been apart. So I really wanted to keep the motor. But as far as the truck, I don't really like the truck. But after going out and looking at some trucks, and looking at all the work that has to be done in order to do a motor swap and just build another truck. And just thinking about the money that's going to be invested and the time that's going to be invested, I just decided, man, I might as well just keep the freaking truck that I got. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not a bad truck, and I've worked out half the freaking problems on there. So I just keep the one that I got. You know, going to be I'm going to be 64 this year, so this coming year. So might as well just keep what I got and quit putting myself in deeper debt. What are they asking me now?
Aaron from Outlaw Life says that there's nothing easy about trucking.
Well, I can tell you trucking comes with a major sacrifice. That sacrifice is your time, your home time. And then when you get home, unless you make good money, like some of y'all can make really good money. I was never blessed with making good money. So I do all my own mechanical work. You know, and so when I get home, I'm doing all my maintenance and mechanical work. And so trucking is very time consuming. And it's really gone downhill so much in the last couple of decades. And, you know, in the last 5-6 years, actually, since Obama started doing it, Obama started bringing in all the H-2B drivers and foreigners in, and they started invading the trucking industry, and that was immediately started changing the way rates were. And then in the last 5 years, you've had not only the HB2 program and the foreigners that are brought over here and given them CDLs, but then you have all the illegals that are on top of it, and the numbers are way greater than they're talking. All you got to do is be out there and see with your own eyes. You know, they've really hurt our trucking industry. And I have nothing against anybody that's willing to work and make money, but they've really hurt our trucking industry because they cut the rates down. I don't know how they can succeed in cutting our rates all the way down to $1.32 a mile, but they've done it. And it's really hurt our trucking industry. So, you know, as far as being an owner operator and booking your own loads and stuff is really hard to do anymore. So
Aaron from Outlaw Life wants to know when you can retire.
I will never be able to retire. Not completely. 65 is only a year and a half away, and I can get my full Social Security. And that's not enough money to retire on, and it's never meant to be retired anyway. It might get me a week off, so I guess I'll be semi-retired. So yeah, I can slow down a little bit. That'd be nice. And I've slowed down regardless if I wanted to slow down or choose to slow down. I've just naturally slowed down, more so in the last couple of years than any time in my life. I just, you know, I'm in no big hurry. I'm not going to run 1,000 miles a day. It's not in me. I know it's not in me. and it would kill me anyway if I even tried. There was a time that I could run 1,000 miles a day, but I'm not doing it. And I average 550, anyway from 400 to 600 miles a day, and that's good enough for me. And this 1,000 miles a day thing, that's in the past for me. I'm not out there to kill myself. Yeah, well, I do. I just, the problem is as far as AJ is concerned, the problem is that the system got involved, and as soon as the system got involved, that's when things went wrong. I could have handled it myself, being his dad. But when they got in there, they thought that they knew better than dad and that they could tell me what to do and say that he can't go with me on the road and blah, 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 blah. When that's exactly what he needs to be. He needs to be with his dad. He needs his dad's guidance and, and yank him up by the back of his neck and set him in the right direction, and it's not, I don't want to beat my child or be hateful to my child. I just want the child to have a good chance in life. And he's not going to have a good chance in life when he's sitting in these freaking boys' homes learning foul language, watching television all freaking day, That's not a way to get a child started in this life. And that's what these systems do. They just get these kids and sit them in a day room and let them watch movies all day long while they cuss and stuff to each other. So that's not what you want. Yeah, you don't want to be involved with the system, especially in Kentucky. And Kentucky is a Commonwealth state, and they go about things a little bit different from the rest of the United States. And they think they can just, and there's not only they think they can, but they can get involved in your life and just turn your life upside down. And that's what they've done. Fortunately, the case is going to close here in 4 months, and they have no plans to reopen it. And so at that point, then AJ won't be on any probation. And at that point, there's no sense even trying to leave him here because, well, he doesn't do good at school, and nobody can control him at school. His mom can't seem to get any control of him. And, I want the boy to have a fighting chance. It's not that he's a bad kid. He just needs, he needs some guidance. And so I'll take him with me and I'll do everything that I can do with the Lord's guidance and try to give the boy a chance. I want the boy to have a chance in life. I don't want him to start life in a deficit.
Justin Burger says hello. Justin Burgers is here.
How you doing, Mr. Burgers? Mr. Burgers. Speaking of burger, I made some. I made pinto beans, and when I was done spicing up my pinto beans and making them, I drained all the water off, and I took a hamburger and browned up the hamburger and added 4 cans of green chilies and 1 can of enchilada sauce, and I dumped that in with the beans, and wow, we've Ruthie ate like 4 freaking bowls in one sitting. I was like, man, you want to save some for somebody else, But anyway, when I heard the name Burgers, it reminded me of the beans. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to call you a beaner, Mr. Burger. I like beans though, man. I love Mexican food. I grew up out in California. back in the 60s and 70s. And it was most of my classmates and the school was Mexicans where I grew up in the Salinas Valley area. And but I learned, and plus my stepmom was Spanish. So I learned to like all that spicy stuff. But the red spices seem to give me heartburn, so I've developed a taste for green spices. So the green doesn't give me the heartburn. Something to do with tomato sauce really just doesn't mix with my stomach very well. So you'll see me using green and not red. Now I will use the red chili, cayenne. I use cayenne for spicing, but I don't use tomato sauce. Looks. Somebody say hello, Ruthie.
Oh, that's Justin Burgers.
Justin Burgers. And Just in Burgers. Just in Burgers. Just that'd make a good restaurant name. Just in Burgers. And French fries too. Let's see what else we got up here, ladies and gentlemen. We're fixing to leave out here a little bit, so we're not going to be on here very long. What time is it?
Talk about your transmission on the 350.
Oh my! So I don't know if y'all remember or not, but when I sold my black Freightliner, I traded my black Freightliner for a Forester Mulcher. Y'all don't know what that is. It's a pretty big machine, and it weighed like 17,000 pounds. It was a pretty big machine, and it did a lot of damage. And not only did it do damage from the work that it does by mulching down forests, but it broke two of my trailers and it burned up the transmission in my 350. So I was leaving out of Dawson Springs, and there's this really, about 2 miles up incline. And just before I hit the incline, I had adjusted the brakes, and it didn't dawn on me that it learns as after you adjust. But I'm pulling this long pull, and all of a sudden my truck comes to a halt. I said, whoa. And I grabbed the brake, put it in park, and shut the truck off. And I thought, man, my transmission just went out. But then while I was standing there next to the truck, guiding traffic around me, I noticed that I didn't smell burnt clutches. And that's what you would normally smell if a transmission burned up. And I thought, well, that's odd because I don't smell any burnt clutches. That's weird. So I got to thinking about how I just adjusted the brakes at the bottom of the hill. And so I went back there and I pulled the plug to the trailer and got back into the truck and fired it up and took off. And went on home without any brakes. But needless to say, that little adventure right there glazed my clutches, and a couple months later started slipping. So it's being rebuilt right now. It's in the shop. In fact, I stopped by there yesterday. They didn't even have it up on a lift, but Ruthie went by there after I went to town, and it was up on a lift, and I could see in the video that transmission was out. They're pretty slick over there. It's probably done today. That's how slick they are. I mean, they're really, old man Powell's been doing transmissions for 30, 40 years. And yeah, he probably rebuilt a transmission with his eyes closed. The guy knows what he's doing. So
yeah, but he's had it for a month.
But the problem is that, they get backed up. They have 20, 30, 40, 50 cars sitting over there all the time. So it's not that they can't do the job. It's just there's two of them in there working, father and son. And you know how it is when you're a good mechanic and people find out you're a good mechanic, you'll have cars lined up down the street. And that's the problem. So I started last summer talking to him about getting my truck in there, and we finally came up with a date, and the date was Thanksgiving to Christmas. That I would bring it in on Thanksgiving, and they'll have it back to me by Christmas, and then it's working out that way too. So they did a car for me a long time ago. My neighbors had a little Ford Taurus, and it was like brand spanking new, but they allowed their son to have it, and he would back up out of the driveway, and while it was still backing up, and dump it in the drive and start burning the tires off. Anyway, he damaged the transmission, and when it damaged the transmission, they decided they would sell it, and I got it for $400, and it was. Remember how it was like brand new when I got it? Mm-hmm. It was like brand new, and so I gave him $400. I was easily give him $400, and I took it over there and let the pals rebuild the transmission, and we had that car for a long time until Ruthie took it flying, and cars are not very good for flying. Well, they fly all right. The landing didn't work out so swell. She bent the car. It looked like a banana. So, right there underneath the windshield, it was bent. The front of the car was bent up because she ran off the road and freaked out and jerked the steering wheel, and it went back up on the road. And so where she went down, it was like 10 feet below the road. And so she panicked and tried to get back up on the road. And when she went at the road, she hit the road and flew over the road and came down the other side of the road. It was a 2-lane road, and nosedived the car into a ditch. And that was the end of that car.
Everybody's talking about October behind you, sleeping behind you.
Yeah, it's Tober. He's Tober number 2. I had speaking of the one guy that was asking about how to get back into trucking, the guy when I got out of prison, I went to work for this guy, and he wasn't any good, and anyhow, he had a cat, and I really didn't want a cat, but anyway, so I brought the cat home. I gave him his name, October, and my neighbors wanted to catch some foxes, and had a fox trap in our backyard that we didn't know about, and caught October in the fox trap and killed him. So when we got these two brothers from the what was their last name over there? The name of the shop?
Corner.
The Corner shop. Willie, he died here a couple years ago. Went over his house and he was dead, but Willie was a master mechanic, and I used to, he was a friend of mine. Anyway, so they had some cats over there, and out of the litter, there's two brothers. I really wanted the Tober because he had long hair, and but October was always running around. You couldn't catch him, and then there was a Boy Joy, and you had no problems catching him because he loved people, and wherever the people was, they were only yay big.
They were 3 months old.
But Boy Joy loved people, so I ended up bringing home Boy Joy, and then I told him, I said, my original plans is to get that long-haired kitten, and so we went back the next day and got Tober, and we named Tober after the first Tober because his life got cut short. So anyway, so that's where October got his name, from the first October. And then we also have a son named August, so we got August and October. And we call October, we call him Tober. It's not October.
Tell them how that Joy Boy got his name? Do you know? Remember?
Well, I remember, but I've heard you tell the story, and you don't remember it the way I remember it.
So AJ wanted to call him Joy. He said, "I'm going to call this cat Joy," and then it ended up being a boy cat. So he became Joy Boy.
That's the way Ruthie remembers it. It's not the way I remember it, but anyway, that'll work, right? How long we been on here?
70 minutes. I still got to do a shower.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get ready to go. We got a hotel room over in London, Kentucky, which is 59 miles from where AJ is. And our plan is tomorrow we'll get up about 6 and run over and go pick him up. We got the whole day with him and bring him back to the hotel room and take him wherever he wants to go and spend the day with him and then return him by 8 o'clock. Is it 8 o'clock?
Yeah, no, 6 o'clock.
I've got to return him by 6 o'clock. So we're going to get ready to do that. And thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for stopping in and saying, hey, sorry I haven't gotten any videos up this week. My mind has been focused on the Cadillac. So we have this Cadillac DeVille that was given to us from the neighbors, and I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and it got hot on my way to the doctor's appointment, and I'm not sure if it burned it up, blew a head gasket or what, but anyway, so it blew a hole in the radiator, and I was putting a radiator in that I ordered from Amazon, and turns out that it wasn't, there was things on it that weren't lining up. One is it had a port that went out to, this Cadillac has a heater in the back for the back seat. So there's a port that goes out to that, and that wasn't there. And so I had to drill a hole and put a port in it. There was that. And then on the transmission lines, they had quick release connectors where you just, put the line in there and it locks in. And release, you just push in on the fitting and pull it out. That's what a quick release is. So it had quick releases from the factory, but somebody had changed out the bottom one and put the standard hose on it, the standard fittings, and so therefore what I thought was only going to take me a couple minutes to put a radiator in ended up taking me all day. And so I got that project that's sitting in the garage because it was raining, so I put it in the garage last night. I got to finish doing that, and then I got work to do on the truck. So anyway, so I've been busy doing that, and I know that that's probably content, but I find it difficult for me to film and work on vehicles at the same time. I know there's lots and lots of places out there, ladies and gentlemen, that do that. The only way I could find to do it is I have a GoPro when I do have headgear. And I also, I put my GoPro in the headgear and do that. Or I also have a chest harness with a GoPro. And you can use your hands and work on stuff with the GoPro. But the problem with the GoPro is that it takes a lot of data from either one of our computers to download it onto and to do the editing. And so therefore I've gotten away from using the GoPro. But when I get back, I will make videos of me taking the top of the motor apart and putting in the wiring harness. And we'll make videos of AJ, and I think we'll make videos. I will definitely take pictures. So we'll try to get that we'll try to make, I'm missing the word. Anyway, we'll try to capture that for y'all. And anyway, I thought I missed a comment. I saw a comment go by. Something about, yes, I got to get a turkey in the oven. So I got to go. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. We don't talk to you between here and there. God bless. Have lots of fun wherever you are. And later.